And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for yourself.
We are the last Americans. We are the last Americans. We are the last
Alrighty,
Americans.
dude. We're here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning.
Oh, man. I thought Greg was like working out over there. We were adjusting something.
Or good afternoon.
I'm doing jumping jacks. I'm freaking lifting the roof.
Oh,
wait,
man.
raising the roof. Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Man, am I white?
jeez. Or a dad.
Yeah.
I'm lifting the roof tonight, honey.
Hey, lift the roof, everybody.
Man.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, what is today? Tuesday? Is it
Yeah.
Tuesday today, man? It's just flying
Yeah.
through the week. Beautiful weather. Enjoying your guys' company. It's good stuff, man. We have a lot of fun conversations to get into today. But make sure you guys get over and follow all the programs, all the different sites, man, whichever one you choose to use, and leave those reviews.
Yeah.
Just got to throw that out there.
At the Last Americans podcast. You can find that tag on Instagram. I mean, pretty much everywhere. Facebook. We're all
Absolutely.
over the place. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, go leave a like and follow. Share the content.
Yeah.
That is the big thing that helps us out. Share our episodes, share our content, make clips. If you guys like certain episodes, certain segments of our show,
Yep.
record it, share it.
Yeah, hit notifications
Yeah.
too, man. Get yourself notified. So every time we get a new episode, you guys get that instantly, and it lets you know that we're ready to rock and roll. You know what I mean?
Regardless of what platform you're listening to, make sure you hit that 5-star.
Absolutely. Greg, you got like multiple articles here. I got a couple that I think are really interesting. What today do you want to start out with?
Dude, let's start out with the janitor that destroyed the $1 million worth of goods there.
Okay, I'm down with that. We had this yesterday, but we kind of got caught up with some other stuff. And I thought this was interesting. I know you said the same thing because it, kind of makes you, what was this stuff exactly? But a janitor attempting to turn off a beeping noise destroys decades of scientific research, causing $1 million in damage. They're actually being sued right now. Daigle, I think, is the company that the janitorial company had, had a $1.427 million contract for 2020 fall semester to clean the facilities at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. I'm not sure if I say that right. So Daigle is the janitorial company, and they had this huge contract. And some dude just couldn't stand the beeping. And he's like, I'm just going to figure out how to shut this off. And he wiped out a bunch of shit, dude.
Now, see, I have personal experience with these kind of whatever.
With the beeping?
So I went to school for this kind of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This bio nerd shit. So
Yeah.
I know that those types of fridges have alarm like silence buttons. And it's very obvious. It just says, click here to silence the alarm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't understand why he just unplugged the damn thing. And not only that, but these fridges are huge.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Like you can't just scoot them out of the way, bro. Like you need like 2 or 3 people to like move them. So I don't know how he got behind the thing. I don't know why he didn't just hit the silence button because I know it had one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it said that there was a sign on the door to the lab's freezer allegedly explaining the source of the alarm and included instructions on how to silence it if necessary. But it said the freezer is beeping as it is under repair. Please do not move or unplug it. No cleaning required in this area.
Wait a second.
That's what the sign said.
Dude, no. Okay, and that's another thing too, is if you have a piece of faulty equipment and you have millions of dollars worth of like decades of research, you move that shit to a functioning, preserved refrigerator. You don't keep all of your specimens in this refrigerator if it's going under repairs.
Well, we don't know what was wrong with the refrigerator.
Maybe it wasn't like a major repair, like an actual like mechanical repair.
Maybe the beeping was what needed repaired.
Well, I mean, it says the second part of it in the note, it says you can press the alarm test mute button for 5 to 10 seconds if you'd like to mute the sound. But what I'm saying is it's clearly spelled out on a sheet.
Yeah, like if you had specific direction on what not to do.
Yeah.
And then you do that thing.
See, Greg, you have experience with lab stuff, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're talking about. I have experience as janitorial because I was a janitor.
Yeah.
I was a janitor. And well, I can tell you this only for a couple of days, but what I will tell you is going into classrooms and stuff, which is other people's property.
Yeah.
You didn't do shit, like touch shit that was not part of your job. You know what I'm saying?
Bucket Dave over here.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I
The
feel
old
like
tampon
I feel
wall.
like if you were a janitor guy and you walk into a laboratory
Mhm.
and there's something beeping, I'm not touching anything.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't even care. I don't care how annoying the beeping is. I don't know what any of that shit is.
Yeah.
I'm not
Mhm.
touching anything.
Well, that's another thing too. Is like these alarms were hooked up to text messaging, so like the professors and like teachers and all that shit, like they would know.
Yeah.
They would come in. They'd be like, "Hey, we're communicating with each other." So it's weird. I wonder if this was like a persistent alarm, and maybe the alarm was the problem, and that was the repair. And they're like, "Dang, this has like a faulty alarm." But then again, if it has a faulty alarm, you're going to move all of your precious specimens to a valid operating refrigerator.
So working coolers as another job, obviously, like in grocery stores and stuff, they all have alarms on them, and like the sensors that would go into the freezers, and this is something I did almost every day of my life. I check the temperatures of the coolers before you go home and stuff, make sure everything's good.
But why do you do that?
Because there's stuff inside that would go bad if it fails.
Exactly.
Yeah, but here's the
Right?
deal. Like a lot of times it wasn't that the freezer was failing or that it wasn't keeping temperature. It was that the sensor for the alarm was faulty. So
Exactly. It's a false alarm.
yes, it's a false alarm.
Yeah, but so if the alarm is bad, you don't necessarily need to move everything.
No. And it
But
says
that's the problem though, is how do you identify if you really do have a true problem?
because you have a secondary sensor in there. We always do.
Okay, maybe they did. Maybe they
Yeah,
did.
so obviously the university thought it was fine enough because we don't know the details that they were fine having their stuff in there still. That there was a workaround. So they put up a sign on the door that was clearly not followed. They decided they didn't unplug it. They went and shut off the circuit breaker for it. Now, what I will say is this, and I mean no disrespect in this by any means at all, but working even for a couple of days, doing the whole process of, the test and all that stuff to become, I can't remember the name of the company was. It was a big company, but a lot of people in that industry do not speak English. And that's just reality. Like they don't. And so
yeah.
them reading the sign, maybe they couldn't. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was working for the university, or not the university, I'm saying that because the article. When I was working for the middle school and the elementary school for the school district, right? It was that was my job. The guy that was on duty, like the main guy that worked for the school, like he spoke English, everything was fine. But there were people that did not speak English at all. And so I would just say maybe they couldn't read the sign. And that's why they did what they did. They heard a beeping noise. They wanted to shut it off, but they weren't. And that's not an excuse. But you're talking about
How are they able to read what breaker to switch off?
I think that's kind of universal, man. I think, what if they, I don't know.
That's not universal. They usually have it written down on the fucking door or on what breaker this controls. You should be able to read that. If you know which one to turn it off, then you'd be able to read the sign that says not to turn it off.
Dude, yeah, and this freezer is a special type of freezer. This is a minus 112 degree Fahrenheit freezer. Okay, so this is like a highly specialized freezer. It's you can't just like go to Sears and buy one of these things.
Well,
You know what I
I'll
mean?
say, hey, how about this? Just to kind of go, because I actually agree with you that makes perfect sense. However, our freezers did have their own circuits sometimes, like their own box with, like a shut off, even with our compactors. Our compactor had its own circuit.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Like just kind of throw like maybe that's what it was.
I wonder what they were keeping in this fridge.
$1 million worth of goodies,
It
bro.
says cell cultures, samples of other research elements.
Research on photosynthesis. That's what
Oh
they said.
God! So like plant tissue.
Yeah. It says estimated $1 million to recreate
I was going to say,
the research.
did this guy actually just save the world and prevent the next pandemic?
Oh shit! More like Borophyll. You know what I mean?
I like how he said people's behavior and negligence cause all of this. Can you imagine some snooty fucking liberal professor? Stupid. Should have closed the border. That's what he said. No, I'm joking. Unfortunately, they wiped out 25 years of research.
Okay, jumping to conclusions here. Assuming
I'm
these
kidding.
are,
I'm fucking kidding. My point is,
yeah. I think that
everybody loves everybody until they don't. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just the fact of the matter, dude.
I think that the research team at that school probably did not have a backup freezer. But
Probably not.
Maybe not.
that's a problem. You know what I mean? Because you have like decades of research all tied up. You have all your eggs in one basket. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, who do you blame for this? Like, ultimately, obviously, they shouldn't have shut this shit off. The cleaning crew should not have gone above and beyond to get this thing shut off. You could also put some blame on the actual university because, if we have faulty equipment, we were required to put tags on things. We were required to, do a lockdown on it and put it in actually have like this metal tag that goes on there so they can't be turned back on.
Yeah, but this wasn't turned off.
I know, but what I'm saying is if you knew that there was an issue, whatever that issue was, and there was, let's say there was a circuit box next to it that has a shutoff for the freezer, why would you not seal that freezer with a zip tie with a tag that says, there's a problem with this, do not shut this off?
You can prevent that breaker from being flipped.
Absolutely, you can.
Yeah, you could prevent it from being flipped, but there was a note clearly saying if you have a problem with this beeping, just hit this button.
Yeah, but I know it's not enough, bro.
That's not enough, and it wouldn't be enough for OSHA. It wouldn't be enough for anything. Like if it was a bigger thing.
Well, this isn't like a workplace. Like this isn't a factory.
I understand that, but if you have an issue and you have millions of dollars worth of equipment, I'm not locking something with one lock. You know what I'm saying? Like you would take precaution, knowing that you have crews that come in that are not part of your business.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just feel like. Hindsight's 2020. Obviously, they probably didn't think much of it, but looking back, they should have probably taken other precautions other than some sticky note that says like, "Hey, this is how you shut it off." Like, if you were that concerned, lock that shit up,
or just don't have the person come in there to clean.
Well, no. So here's the deal: is this is probably not the first time this company has been in this room. Okay, let's be honest.
True.
No, they've had a huge contract. They were in there.
Yeah. So this contract is like. This cleaning company is part of their company, pretty much. Like they're on campus every day, right?
$1 million contract.
Yeah, so it's like maybe it was a new hire.
This
maybe it was like
reminds me of like you see those TikToks or reels going around where it's like, "Hey, sir, where'd you get the new guy? How much you pay for him?" And he goes, $20. $20 not enough. He's no good.
Okay.
You never seen those?
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one.
Where it's like it's a video of somebody really fucking something up on the job, and there's a guy on the phone calling the boss like, "Where'd you get this guy?" Okay. It's not funny if you have to fucking explain it. So.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. Nonetheless, I kind of blame the university, bro. Like they should have had this equipment locked out, like the lockout, and then tagged it out and stuff. They should have a backup freezer that they transfer all that shit into. Like, the chances of somebody like going and pulling the breaker and all that shit, very, very low, but it happened, Yes. So it's like, you can't just rule that out and say like, that's not going to happen. We don't have to worry about that. Like, hello.
Yeah, basically they did an investigation. There was a whole bunch of things going on here, but they did an investigation conducted by the safety staff, determined the cleaner made an error in reading the electrical box, which again would say that maybe he couldn't actually read it.
But that's another thing too, Dave, is touching anything electrical. Like
it's not your job.
It's not your job. Like that can get you in a lot of trouble too.
Well, they said at the end of the interview, he did not appear to believe he had done anything wrong, but was just trying to help. That's what they stated. So
what if this was intentional sabotage of these samples, dude?
I mean, plants. Like, I don't know, man. Like, there's a lot of research, but like, how much research do universities do that are like actually impactful? Because we've seen Rand Paul talk about this shit where they spend gobs of money on frog boogers. Like the effect of frog boogers. Like no one cares. And so photosynthesis and like these materials, plant material, like that's research. It's important to somebody, right? Yeah. But like, I don't know. I mean, if this was like I don't know if they had like vaccines, like then you could be like, wow, but it's a touchy subject. I could see how somebody maybe would do something.
Yeah,
like that.
That's true. I want to know like what was the purpose of this tissue, the cell cultures, right?
Yeah, I can't. I mean, is the 1.4 million or whatever it is just based on like the time spent on research for professors and scientists, or is that just the stuff that was in the freezer?
The 1.4 million was the contract that this cleaning company
but
$1 million worth of
whatever.
Yeah, I think it says $1 million to recreate the research, which means the
their
labor,
work,
the time,
not necessarily the stuff
not
itself.
the product.
Yeah.
25 years they've been working on this research. 25 years.
Well,
so
it's
$1 million.
damn, hurry it up.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's unfortunate. Let's just put it that way. But you know what? You have to be responsible. If you have people coming in and do shit, you have to be responsible at the end of the day, in my opinion, for your stuff. And if there's something that you know is faulty, you better take extra precaution because you never know what somebody else will do.
Yeah.
If something's
and
beeping and it's annoying to you that you make a note, it's probably going to be super annoying to somebody who has no clue what's going on. Because have you ever walked into a room and heard beeping that you can't find? And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but at the same time, if you're just a fucking janitor, deal with the beeping for the 15 minutes you're going to be in the room and then leave.
For sure, dude.
Put your headphones in, bro.
And not only that, but to get access to these locations, you have to have specialized training. Like, you don't just go into a lab. Like, you have to have an access card. You have to, like, go through some sort of standard training procedure. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but the janitors, have the access cards, but they don't have any of the training. That's why in all the robbery movies, they always go for the janitor card.
Yeah, these companies just give them a key
it's
or
a fail-safe move.
Yeah, like you're not going to steal the actual professor's card because then you have to know what you're talking about if someone confronts you.
Sure.
You steal the janitor card because nobody questions that guy.
Absolutely. That's why you always see them dressed up with the mustache and they have the janitor card.
Don't mind me. I'm just scrubbing the floor.
So, yeah, I mean, they don't need like all this special training, bro. Like the company, like you're told like, hey, your route is going to be this business, and this business. And you go do those things after they close.
Yeah.
You have access, you know the pin, and you go up and you go in. So it's, it's not like special training, bro. It's just.
Yeah, so, well, I don't know. I mean, maybe, but that's just another aspect of looking at it. I did open up the link to the original New York Post article. And this kind of explains what the cells, like the cellular tissues, were being used for. It says they might have furthered solar panel development.
Oh.
So we're looking at the green movement, the zero carbon emission movement. And we all know, I mean, it's not safe to cook pizzas anymore. So
yeah, I'm not.
Fits right into this agenda.
I don't really know if that has anything to do with it or not. You know what I mean? If this was something like real important, that would lead me to wonder. But like, I'm not buying it. I think somebody was a dummy. That's about what the extent of it. Two people were dummies: the university and the person shutting the shit off. It just was a bad situation. And mistakes happen, bro. Let's be honest. Like shit gets broken, like you're cleaning, stuff happens. Like, so they're going to sue. From my understanding, per some other articles, they're actually going to sue the cleaning company for, the damages that happen. And they'll probably win in some civil situation.
And my guess is this isn't that big of a loss.
No, like two nerds were really upset.
You're going to tell me over that whole 25 years, you didn't document any of your research and you just lost it all in that fridge just now?
Well, I don't know that it's always about if you have fridge, like maybe those cultures were something that were developing like of years of development. You know what I'm saying? And maybe. Then that would, you need more than just like documentation. That would be actual physical stuff.
Yeah,
but either way,
that's true.
Either way, like it sucks. It's a sucky situation, especially if you were the one that was working on this for 25 years, man. Like,
I'm just saying.
Well, now you got job
security
too. You can start it all over again.
Or just quit.
You got your job for another 25 years
just
at
quit.
least.
Fuck solar panels, man. I'm fucking over this shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know that we'll ever hear anything about it again. I don't think it's like huge news. It's just unfortunate. This could have been worse. It could have been a part of the university that had some real.
Man, fuck. Could you
stuff.
imagine if it was something that was keeping something cold so it wouldn't explode or something?
Oh, yeah, I don't know what that would be. But yeah, man.
Yeah, like if he went out, it's like fucking beeping.
Or it's like a frozen Loch Ness monster and like Bigfoot carcass.
Just let the next AIDS virus out.
Maybe like
so, do you
Disney's
guys think
brain. Huh?
Was this on purpose or was this?
No, I think it was accidental.
I think this is just a guy that didn't have any clue of what's going on.
Yeah, I think he made a really poor decision. And I would also hold responsibility a little bit to the university as well. But the guy fucked up. That's what it comes down to. He fucked up. I don't know that there's any more to it than that. So, unfortunate for them. That's
I mean, definitely that cleaning company is going out of business probably.
Yeah. Well,
I could see this the like beginning of a series or a movie where that the janitor had to actually pull the plug to save the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
I got to get in there and destroy the samples.
Or it's going to be like, that's what starts the movie. And then it's like a court case movie where they actually find out what was really going on.
Oh, yeah. Matthew McConaughey's in there, lawyered up.
All right.
All right. Here's what happened to those samples, everybody.
You just brought up something, though, a second ago that I kind of want to get into, too, which was the pizza situation. I think that's an interesting one, man.
No carbon at all.
Yeah, man. Like, listen, you can piss off New Yorkers and shit by, increasing crime and, all the other crap that New York has. But you take away their pizza.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. What are you doing? Don't do that shit. This is Dave Portnoy. He rips New York City's proposed crackdown on coal-fired pizza joints. Are you fucking nuts?
This is ridiculous.
He's mad.
Well, that's his whole skit,
It's ridiculous.
Man. His whole scheme is like he goes and tries out these pizzas. And let's be very real. The best pizzas in the world are from these fire ovens, man. Old school way of cooking. They're delicious. Yep. And so this is one of those things where somebody proposed something where they basically said they wanted these eateries that use these old-fashioned baking methods to cut down on carbon emissions by 75%. And the only way to do that, really, in those situations is to not use them at all. And so
wait, are these just with coal, or can you use wood?
You can't use wood either.
Wood and coal, like any
wood or coal-fired pizzas are now.
Okay, because I know Jimmy Kimmel has his own kind of like wood fire, whatever pizza pit, whatever the hell it is.
Sure.
Yeah, I read somewhere that there was actually this affects like less than 100, like pizzeria places. There are places that do this kind of cooking. So
yeah, like
I mean,
what's
the fucking
substance
point?
here?
Well, so
exactly.
Here's the thing. Like, so to your point, there are very few people anymore that are doing the old-fashioned pizzas.
Yeah.
But to Dave Portnoy's point, he's saying that those particular 100 are the best 100 because they're the ones that are doing it the original way.
Yeah.
And so you could be Domino's and just do an electric fucking, and it's fine. But like if you want real
they can't
pizza,
use electric. Or actually,
they want everybody to use electric. But he goes on this huge like 5-minute rant, which I did watch and it was funny. But he said you have rats, you got trash in the city, you got fucking cars, planes, private planes, you got people slashed on the subway, you have flash mobs robbing stores, and you're coming for coal oven pizzas. And perfect point. Like, holy shit, you have so much other stuff that is way more significant.
So many more problems.
And I'm going to laugh because they said, like, we got to cut down emissions. We got to get rid of that coal and the fucking the logs, bro. And so when power goes out and everybody's freezing to death, some of these nerds are going to be like, don't start a fire with wood. It's going to hurt the earth and you're freezing to death. And honestly, I would be behind them clapping with a fire going like, ha, fucking get out of here, losers. You know what I'm saying? So
it's the same thing with the jab too. You know what I mean? Like I got to shutting down your store to save humanity. Like, well, at least I had to shut down my business of over 30 years, but at least I kept people safe.
Yeah.
You're patting yourself on the back for being a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Basically, they said that they want to install, this is from a 2015 law. And it says that this law would not force them to close their doors. It would indicate, like, they have a mandate, basically, that these certain pizzerias would have to put this expensive emission control device on the ovens. What's that going to do, though? If you're pumping out pizzas and burning them all day long, right? You got fires going all day, and they want you to cut 75%. Like, are they telling you can only make so many pizzas a day? I mean, because that's not going to be good for business.
Yeah.
I don't think this is good. Now, there was... I talk about this article because I think it's ridiculous, right? That we're getting to the point where they want to just ban and get rid of all this shit. If you go to my TikTok, there's a video. There was a guy who was protesting, and he bought a box of pizzas, like a whole bunch of pizzas. And there's other videos showing him walking up with multiple pizzas. But he goes to like the city hall or something in New York City, and he starts taking pizza slices and throwing them over the fence, right? Well, the cops show up. He's protesting. He's like, yeah, but I thought what he said was actually pretty good. So if you go to my TikTok, you'll see like the little video of him. And he's saying a lot of what, you got to refresh this bad boy. A lot of what Portnoy's saying as well.
But yeah, like the impact of closing down 100 restaurants compared to like China.
This one?
You know, if you look at the carbon emissions, slim to none.
If you're talking just emissions, it means nothing. Yeah,
I've seen this guy before.
Yeah.
Protesting with
So this guy's getting, people are kind of circling him. You see the half empty pizza boxes. But he's just saying like, hey, man. And I thought what he said about New York City was good, dude. Check this out.
Protesting with a pizza?
Yeah, because they shut down pizzerias because it's destroying the fucking world.
I know the
Meanwhile,
polo.
we got crime all over the fucking place.
Oh yeah, this guy's all over the place.
The
Yeah.
fentanyl problem.
This wasn't a Boston Tea Party. This was a New York pizza party.
Look at this. Getting arrested. You gotta love New York City.
This part
I'm
comes.
not getting arrested. Give me a
Okay.
chance.
He's like, "You arrest me, officer?" No, I'm not getting arrested.
Court
Right.
summons. Let us have our cola and
Naked
pizzas.
dudes with their titties dancing around in the fountains in the city yesterday in front of fucking children. But this guy's worried about fucking pizza.
Crazy.
The city used to be tough. We were gritty. We turned into a bunch of pussies.
Yeah, so that guy was out there during the lockdowns,
Yeah.
and he
Oh,
was
yeah.
out there in the protests for the lockdowns.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
that guy's like fire as far as being on the money and spitting out.
But what he's saying is real, man. He's like, you know, we have literally like naked men with children in a fucking fountain the day before. We have trash. We have all this shit. The city used to be tough. It used to handle shit, and now we're a bunch of pussies. And this guy's getting a summons for pizza.
Yeah.
When I bet you could go any block in any direction to find a tent set up in the middle of the fucking sidewalk that's not getting a summons.
And they got a pizza in there.
And they got pizza in there. And rats. So it's just like, where do you draw the line with this shit, right? You're going after dumb shit. And I think this is, I know it's stupid because it's pizza, but I'm just saying when you start taking away those small luxuries and start making them problematic, just like gas cars and hot rods and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, you really start touching on very specific groups that are like, no, you won't. Like, are you fucking kidding me? No, you're not. And that's when we see real change. It's because you can't take away New York's pizza. God damn it.
Well, dude, so last year, I don't know if you remember this, but you had like this big surge of this movement in the House to urge Biden to declare a climate emergency.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
Yeah.
Like this national climate emergency. Like there was this big push. And now I just heard that a couple days ago, you had the House, the new House, they're putting out a bill that says, hey, we want to make it a law that Biden cannot produce like a national climate emergency. Like they want to make it so that way he can't shut down America because of climate control.
Okay.
So that's something that's, I'm like, oh yeah, I like that. You know what I mean? So at least like they're fighting back against this kind of movement. And I'll have to find out like more of what exactly that bill looks like.
Yeah, it just like the whole thing is so weird to me because I'm like, part of me goes like, we shouldn't have to make a bill that says you can't do something. You know what I'm saying? Like we shouldn't have to do that. Like if there is a real climate emergency, let's say like Mount Rainier blows up and the entire United States is covered with fucking ashy stuff, and that would be a climate emergency, like a real one. You know what I mean? Like a major volcano, and the sun can't get through, and plants are dying and shit. Now you're talking some real shit. Like maybe Yellowstone explodes, right?
Well, I mean,
But,
that
like, come
woman
on.
just did spread her mother's ashes at the Pink concert. Remember? So that's, I mean, climate control. Hello.
Yeah, man.
Think about the carbon emissions there.
Yeah, man. You're putting body parts in my nostrils. I don't like it.
Gross.
I
Yeah,
never.
so I'm
I gotta
sending
be
you
real,
a
I've never
link here.
said that. I hate when people do that. When I see people throwing ashes, and it's just like in people's faces, I'm like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
It's like,
Why would
like,
you do that?
Are you okay with this? Like, it's really gross. Like, to me, I'm sorry. It's just, I don't want to smell mom. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
or any of that
exactly.
stuff. Like, that's weird.
Yeah, burnt dead mom.
Yeah, I just
Chris,
feel
I
like-
just sent you a link there, bud.
I just feel like why we shouldn't have to make, like, he's the president. He should be able to do what he feels fit. However, like, people don't recognize some of these, like, nonsensical things, man. And that's the issue.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just sent Chris a link from Yahoo News. Capito reintroduces bill to prevent Biden from declaring climate change a national emergency. All righty. So this is the opinion of U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito. He's a Republican from West Virginia.
Sure. Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like this is kind of what we need. We need to limit the power of the president.
Yeah, but that just limits the power of the president. That doesn't limit what New York City or New York State is going to do.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah,
but
that's
I mean, look at the power of the president, bro. I mean, look what he did with the lockdowns and look what he did with the mandates of the vaccines and all that shit.
Well, I mean,
You know,
that was
he's the one who
mostly
was
the
pushing it,
states,
too.
bro. I mean, pushing it
For sure.
and having it actually, that's a state problem. This is not the president can say whatever he wants. And the states,
But the president can also lock down the country. I mean, didn't Trump lock down flights? during the beginning of COVID?
He has certain aspects of the country, but he can't.
Oh,
he can't
I'm just
just tell.
saying.
He can't tell a state you have to be locked down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, listen, this would be, I think that this one in particular would be kind of self-regulatory. Like if they actually came out and did this and said we need to shut down businesses, I feel like because it's not some virus that no one knows about at this point, you're like, wait, climate change? No, I'm good. We're open. We're good. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like there needs to be, if there was going to be any legislation passed, there needs to be something passed to make them have to prove the effects of the bill they want to put forward. Like if they want to
prove
say
the
we need to
dangers.
get rid of all these coal and wood fired pizzas, they need to prove that that's actually damaging.
They
I'm
can,
sure
though.
they do, dude. They have like studies that they pay for, and it's like, it'll show like a micro whatever gram of difference.
They can produce those.
Yeah, but the effects have to be reasonable.
No, see, that's the problem is that they're all on
What's
their
reasonable?
side. They're all on their side. So they could easily come up with a study that says anything they want it to.
Yeah.
Like there's like when you hear it with even the vaccine situation, like, well, I mean, 900 of the leading doctors and scientists say that this is good. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the problem. It's not that like they're even a poll, like they'll give you this poll and the statistic and you're like, wow, that's really bad. And then you actually look and it's like, oh, 10 people actually did the study, or that means nothing of what it actually was supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like they are able to manipulate the poll or manipulate
you look
the
at how
study.
they ask the questions, who they asked, what time, like what was going on surrounding that. But yeah, as far as what's like a rational decision, like who decides what that definition is? You know, we've seen them change the definition of herd immunity. It's like, hello, they just completely forgot about that.
There is no specific like person that makes those decisions. I feel like they're on this train of we need to save the environment regardless of what that means, and they're just like, oh yeah, we can't burn wood inside the city. That's bad for the smoke. The smoke is bad.
Well, I mean, listen, they're
right
going to
now,
reap
but
what they sow, bro. Like if Portland, New York, and all these places decide to go this extreme, well, then you're going to have more people moving out, more people, like no businesses coming in. No. Like you're eventually you're basically cutting your limbs off every time you do this shit.
Yeah.
And eventually New York's going to be a stub, just a fucking lump of a fucking torso. And there's not going to be anything left of it. And if they want that, that's what you get. And so move the fuck out of New York, move the fuck out of California and shit. Like, I mean, this is where it's going, is all I'm saying. And like, if you like it, so be it. But Texas right now, I mean, they're saying this week in Texas is going to be hotter than any other place on earth, or equivalent to any other place on earth. Even the Sahara Desert.
Even hell?
Well, that's imaginary.
Jeez,
but I'm just saying, like,
whether that's on Earth or not,
the hottest places on Earth, the hottest 3 places on Earth, one of them is Texas this week. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, and what? I wear flip-flops now and shorts, and I enjoy it. So, I mean, I'm just saying, like, you could argue, like, see, you know, the global warming, man. Look at Texas. It's not New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? It's not Tennessee. It's just Texas for whatever fucking reason. And we have snowstorms, and that's climate change. And we have this, and it's like, come on, man. Shit happens. Like, get over it. Get over it. You have to. Climate change is fake.
Well, and that's what Robert Kennedy Jr. was saying. He's like, you know, they're exploiting climate change right now. I mean, because there's climate stuff that's worth paying attention to, like pollution.
Yes.
You know, like the microplastics.
Yeah.
And that stuff, he's always kind of been at the forefront of discussing. And when it comes to like greenhouse gases and chlorofluorocarbons and all that shit, getting rid of the atmosphere, there's some science to that. But it's like, now you're using this for political gain, and the climate lockdown is something that everybody can see coming, dude. It's the writing is on the wall completely. I mean, they were selling this shit when we had the COVID lockdown. Remember the stories about China shutting down, saying that 20% of the world's frickin' carbon was reduced because China is not producing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're proving their point that China is one of the major problems with climate change.
It is. I mean, America has done significant things to improve, right? And listen, as much as I don't buy into the whole climate change stuff, like that doesn't mean that I don't want a clean environment. Like there's obvious things with trash pollution, our oceans, that we should be cleaning them up. We should be, you know, getting rid of the garbage, the plastics. I get that. But like as a whole, Like, this is nuts, bro.
Yeah.
This is nuts that we're even going here. And I honestly don't think this works. Even if they did, even if Biden came out and said we need a climate thing, California would jump on board. Colorado's jumping on board. New York's
Washington,
Oregon are jumping on board. And then you're stuck, whatever that means. But unfortunately, or fortunately for us, I should say, is there's not this mysterious thing. That's why the COVID thing works so well. It's because there was a thing that no one knew what was going to happen. And so it was a legitimate fear, even to us. Like in the very early, we're like, man, what is this thing going to do? Like, how bad is this going to be?
Well, that's how they get you, dude.
Yeah, but
They
listen,
get you to fear things that you don't know and you don't understand.
but it's harder to sell. It's harder to sell climate change.
Not really.
No, I disagree with you.
Dude,
I think it's very hard to sell.
just like you're saying, like with the stories with the Texas being the hottest place on earth, people buy that up, dude. They soak it up and they see all of the catastrophes caused by weather.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have these news reports that are coming out saying like, this is the first time this has ever happened. This is not normal. Like, what is happening to our, and everybody's going, well, something not normal is happening. It must be climate change.
Well, listen, that's fine. And while they're complaining, I'm going to go to the pool.
That's you. I'm just saying,
everybody
you.
here. That's what I'm trying to say. Normal people do not act like that. Like normal people
I know, but I'm
understand
just
that
saying,
tornadoes go. You're talking about California. You're talking about some weirdos in New York. You're talking about Oregon and Washington. Like weirdos.
You would think so. But then again, like who all was wearing masks? You still have people wearing masks in Texas. I'm sure.
They moved here from fucking there. That's the problem.
Well, there you go.
I know.
They're going to spread the disease. They're going to spread that liberal disease.
They get made fun of. That's all. That's it. And then they have their Biden sticker and Bernie sticker on the back of their car. Like that's
Yeah, but they also vote.
Sure, but you really think that at this point, like with climate change, you really think that's overwhelming support for climate change? I really disagree with that. Otherwise,
I don't know. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, yes, people will be persuaded by this, and yes, they do have something to sell. They can use it as propaganda really easily.
If I'm just throwing out a ballpark number, I say a quarter of the people that were persuaded by COVID would actually fall for this. A quarter of them, because COVID was a real thing that could actually take your life. That you didn't know, that you actually seen people in hospitals, quote unquote. You actually seen these things. You saw your loved ones get it. That, even myself, right? If you were like, I got all kinds of shit. I had to go to the hospital with bullshit. So like you see it and it's like, oh, what is it going to do to me? Am I too overweight? Am I blah, blah, blah? Like if you're just saying like, hey, temperatures.
Hurricanes, they see tornadoes.
They have their whole life. They have their whole life.
Sure. I mean, but if you have the news reports saying that this is odd, this is not normal behavior here for the weather. And then not only that, but what if we have like this solar, whatever the hell, sunburst, whatever the fuck it's called.
Oh, well,
what are those things called? Where that takes out
burst.
the freaking.
Yeah. It's
what if we have a solar burst that takes out the grid?
What if we have a comet? What if we have a meteor that's the size of Texas?
Flare.
Like, solar
There
flare.
you go. Solar flare.
I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of things that could happen. If like I said earlier, if Yellowstone erupted, that would be devastating for a lot of people.
Yeah, and how many news organizations are talking about that?
None. That's my point.
Exactly.
It's not realistic. Like you're going to
Yeah.
a very extreme situation. You know what I mean?
Maybe. I'm just saying, like, I would not be shocked or surprised if they use a solar flare as an excuse to cut the power. And then they blamed it on the solar flare and go, we got to do something about this. Like, our climate is getting out of control. We can't sustain this. But it is kind of like a double-edged sword because they want everybody to get on electricity. And so you're saying, well, wait a second. Our climate's out of control, but you want us to get on electricity? And then you got the sun up here that can like kill the grid?
It's no win because when all the little Teslas and the douches, and I fucking hate Tesla drivers, bro. I was driving yesterday with my wife and I just literally...
There's a lot of them.
I told her, I was like, it's not that... Like, I think the car's a piece of shit. I got to be real with you. But it's not that the car's just like shitty. It's the person driving the car. Like, and listen, if you own a Tesla and you listen to us, then I like you. You're fine. But I'm saying anybody outside of our show that drives a Tesla, you are an absolute douchebag. Like, douchiest of douches. Like, there is, those people that are just like holier than thou. That's how they're almost as bad as Subaru drivers. No offense, Greg. I know you had one in the past, but I'm just saying, like, I'm talking about the WRX guys with the fucking, vape pens, those fucking group. They're the worst. But I'm going to laugh when this all goes down. And I'm going to take my gas-powered vehicle and just drive around, and you're all stuck with nothing.
Point and laugh.
And here's the other deal. You guys are going to be, I'm going to go to the pool. I'm going to get wet. in my old car that's gas driven and carbureted, and I'm going to be fine.
Yeah, and you're going to be driving around like normal while they're stuck there, even though they spent millions of dollars and ruined so many people's lives digging up all that shit over in some other country that you didn't have to worry about to make your precious electric car.
Yeah, dude, I'm not concerned.
You know what I don't get too? Like when it comes to like polluting the air, they want to get rid of pizzerias, but like how many leaf blowers and like just fucking, gas powered, CC engine, whatever the hell. But like the leaf blowers just blow up all this particulate matter that everybody's just like, ugh.
Well, they're also
give them ideas.
Yeah, they're gas driven, too. A lot of them, right?
Yeah.
And just smoke. You hear all the time, dude. It's everywhere. And there's millions of those things running. And
I love
what?
gas.
What are they going to tell you? Don't mow your yard anymore?
You have to have an electric mower.
Electric mowers.
Electric mower.
And like I said,
dude, my neighbor has an electric mower. I'm like, no.
Dude, I'm not
giving it
my dad has one. It's actually works really good. He got it because he can't pull start stuff anymore.
I have nothing against that shit. If it's better, fine. Like there's a point where electric cars may be just absolutely better. You know what I'm saying? And that's fine. But like in due time, right? You can't just rush it and be like, this is it. We're here.
Yeah, but the world's ending. We need electricity, electric powered stuff so the world doesn't end.
I prefer, I've always preferred. I'm that guy that like when it comes to like power stuff, I prefer corded electric shit, period. Like even my drills, like I know they're good. They're great. Like you have the battery operator and all that. So that's fine. I'm just saying like I've always preferred just to have, I don't want to deal with like switching batteries and forgetting to plug in the battery because I'm stupid. I would.
No way, dude.
But I'm going corded all the time, every time.
Cordless every time.
I just have 100 different
or gas. Like if it is gas mower, I'm not doing electric and that shit. I'm not doing it. And just give me the gas. I'm good to go. You know what I mean?
If I'm mid mowing the lawn and my battery on the lawnmower goes out, like I'm pissed.
Well, and now you got to wait like 2 hours for it to charge.
You probably have a backup, right? You have to have a backup, I'm sure.
Those batteries aren't cheap, bro.
They're not cheap.
They're not.
That's for damn sure, man.
Amazon though, hey, get some cheapies on there.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like whatever, dude. Like if you're into that, great, but don't like, come on. They're not going to actually go through with this. That's not going to happen, in my opinion.
I get you.
Well, like I don't think it'd stop anything.
Yeah, I mean, the states are going to do what the states are going to do.
Yeah.
So, and I think actually more states wouldn't go along with this than even with the lockdowns that we had, because they'd be like, no, come on,
that's stupid.
Yeah, it's stupid. We'll deal with the golf ball size hail. Like, we're fine. You know what I mean? Like, it's just insurance loves it. So, yeah. All right.
Right on. Are you guys ready to jump to a different topic here?
Sure, dude. Sure. Absolutely. What do you got?
So this is something that came out yesterday. You had another leak. CNN airs the audio in the Trump classified documents case. Now, this was the conversation that got him into this lawsuit to begin with. Where he's flashing some papers to, I don't know, was this an assistant or something? Where he's talking about how General Milley wants to start a war in Iran, right? And so everybody's saying like, well, how could he show these documents to just, who was it? Who did he show?
It was a staffer.
Okay, so this low-level staffer, how could he just do that? And so I was listening to Bongino the other day, and he's like, okay, so if I lift up some pieces of paper and I go, hey, look at this classified stuff, it's pretty crazy. And I just show it for a brief second. Are you going to be able to comprehend what I just showed you? No.
You just see some flapping papers.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, yeah, that's nice. I can see that there's some letters on there. Is that a big giant P? I don't know. But you wouldn't be able to read it and understand it and know exactly what that paper said. So that's
you took a photo, right?
No, there was no photos. Like, I don't know if there was.
I mean, are you going to be able to take a photo of me going, hey, look at this fucking stack of papers I got?
Yeah, it'd be blurry as fuck. So
it'd be amazing what you can slow down and see. Okay, that's all.
That's just one angle of it where I kind of agree. I'm like, okay, yeah, the context of that makes no sense. But this whole conversation is Trump just saying, hey, these people are batshit crazy. They want me to go start a war. They want me to start a war with Iran. They want me to go attack them, right?
Okay. This
is General Milley and the Pentagon and all these defense people. So that is the main thing. And that's what Dave Smith points out in this tweet. He's like, it's amazing how many people can share this video and seem to ignore the obviously most interesting part and focus on him saying that the documents were secret. He's talking about the military trying to push the president into yet another stupid evil war. And people just completely gloss over that. Be like, oh, like it's not the context of what he's saying. He's flapping around these secret documents.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, like listen to what the man says. He says like the generals, Milley, they want him to purposely go start a war.
Well,
that's
the war
whole
machine.
point.
Yeah, we know that.
Well, that's what they're all about.
Yeah, we know the war machine's going to keep on chugging.
But we do, but it's like no one pays attention to that.
Well, because he's in some parts. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can look at it two ways, right? You can look at the fact that, like, he's claiming that the most interesting thing is the war aspect of this. When other people are saying, like, no, the fact that he's actually showing these documents and saying certain things is the most important thing. It's just a matter of opinion. He's a anti-war guy.
Yeah.
So he's going to jump on that particular take. But this is another thing that he's going to have to defend. I mean, he's going to have to defend this.
Well, so let's play this audio first, and then we'll just listen to what he says. This is Trump being recorded here.
So
this is
inside this tweet or in the
Dave
article?
Smith tweet, is that the one?
Yeah, sure. It's all the same video. It's a 2-minute video.
Okay.
I wanted to attack Iran.
All right, let's restart.
These are bad, sick people.
That was your coup, you know, against you.
Well, it started right at the
like
beginning.
when Milley's talking about, oh, you were going to try to do a coup. No, they were trying to do that before you even were sworn in. That's right. Trying to overthrow your election.
Well, with Milley, let me see that. I'll show you an example. He said that I wanted to attack Iran.
Paper
Isn't it
shuffling.
amazing? I have a big pile of papers. This thing just came up. Look. This was him. They presented me this. This is off the record, but they presented me this. This was him. This was the Defense Department and him. Wow. We looked at some. This was him. This wasn't done by me. This was him. All sorts of stuff. It's pages long. Look. Wait a minute. Let's see here.
Wait a minute.
I like how he goes into like sexy voice when he's just hanging
I
out.
just found, isn't that amazing? This totally wins my case, you know. Except it is like highly confidential, secret. This is secret information. But look at this. You attack, and
Hillary would print that out all the time, you know.
she'd send
Private
it.
email.
No, she'd send it to Anthony Weiner,
Yeah.
the pervert.
The pervert.
By the way, isn't that incredible? Though?
Yeah.
I was just saying because we were talking about it, and you know, he said he wanted to attack Iran and what. These are the
You
papers.
did.
This was done by the military, given to me. I think
right.
we can probably, right?
So there's no video to this?
It's just
No,
audio
and so
recording.
that's what I think they're proposing that Trump might have the video of this because that will show him actually.
Why would he be recording himself?
Yeah, he's not recording himself. Who's
I
recording
don't know.
this?
I mean, people record themselves all the time to have backups.
And my
shit.
question would be, when he picked it up and was like, look at these, look at all these secret documents. Is he being sarcastic?
I do that all the time. That's what I was actually going to say.
Because they're saying he has all these classified documents and that's what he's being in this lawsuit for. He's like, look at us. Look at all these classified
is he even
documents.
doing
Like,
that? That's my, like, you know how many times I've said, Chris is sitting next to me and I said, dude, check this out. And I'm like, start reading an article to him. Like, I'm not telling him to actually like, hey, get your head in here and look at this. Like I'm saying like, check this out, man. Like, this is crazy. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
maybe the video will be the damning proof that shows that she was like putting her head into the documents, looking and reading it.
Well, so here's
that
the
would
deal.
be-
Like this is again goes back to what you guys said was like probably not realistic. Is that like somebody taped this? Which why would they not film it? And if they did film it, and he is holding up documents, even if he wasn't necessarily letting them read it, if he's holding stuff up and they were filming it, they could easily stop or slow down that video and read what was on that.
my guess
fucking
is
stuff.
if they had a video, they would have released a video.
You would think so, right?
No, not yet, because this is what they do is they slowly release stuff out and they let you trip up on your own words. They want Trump to lie about this. So that way, when they come out with the video, it proves that he's lying. They want him to say, no, I didn't show her all this stuff. And be like, oh, yeah? Well, look at this video. This shows that she had her head right up.
But
close to
also,
this paper.
if he was being sarcastic in that moment, his body mannerisms would tell that. Like if he was sitting there, he's like, "Oh, look at this," you'd be able to tell that he's being sarcastic.
Well, yeah.
I kind of picked up that he was being kind of sarcastic in that moment.
I'm indifferent. I think that like I say that kind of stuff. I always say like, check this out, or like, guys, check this out, dude. And like, you're not like getting up in my shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just more of a phrase of like getting your attention.
Oh, I wasn't saying he's being sarcastic as actually come look at this. I thought he was being sarcastic as look at all these documents I have.
Yeah.
Well, look at all this classified stuff.
Yeah. That conversation, there was that segment where he goes, like, look at this, look. And then the woman goes, wow. Like, wow, she was looking at something. Was she just looking at a big stack of papers? Or was she actually getting in there and reading it?
I don't know.
And does it even fucking matter?
I don't know. I mean, it's like, it's one of those things where like, people are careless sometimes with shit. And, you're held accountable for that to some extent, but I don't know. There's not enough here. Like I think that this is easily, like, you could look at this as worse than it is, but I want to see a video. If there's a video, I think that's going to say everything. If he's actually having people sitting next to him at the desk looking at documents, that's probably not a great thing. That's probably not. Who
says they're even classified?
He did. He just said it.
Yeah, but if he's saying it sarcastically, because that's what they're going after him for.
Here, there, or there. That's what I'm trying to say is we don't know. Like, we're assuming based off of just conversation that we know what's going on. If you see the videos, like, and you see if something was to surface and he's sitting next to this gal and he's literally like, you see what he's writing here, see what he's saying, and he came out and said like that didn't sound sarcastic to me, where he's like, these are highly confidential, like that didn't sound sarcastic. So it's just not enough yet, but it's not. I expect this kind of shit. Obviously, it's coming into election season, like I totally expect this, but to Dave Smith's point, like, no, I don't think the most important thing of this is going to be the war. Like, honestly, to some people it may be, but I don't think that's the most important thing of this.
Well, that's what people want to get Trump in jail. Mm-hmm. That's what they're going to hype up that as the most important thing. Like Trump showed classified documents to a low-level staffer. Mm-hmm. Okay. And that's punishable. He should be in jail, So that's the whole thing is this. I hear that like Trump can't even talk about this. Like he can't disclose.
Yeah, they
any
put a gag order
on
him.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, what is where?
My one thing I'll say about this is, to me, it's like the long break periods, right, at work. I would try not to ever chew out an employee for taking a 15-minute break when they're supposed to take a 10. You know what I'm saying? Like over time, I say, like, hey, man, like, we're supposed to take 10s. If you take a couple minutes, no big deal. Like, it's not a big deal, right? Because once you start writing somebody up for taking long breaks, you're going to end up writing every single person up. And that's what I think is the problem with this is, like, let's say that this is real. Let's say that he did show some documents. I bet you could go back to any president before him or even other people, vice presidents, and they would probably be doing similar shit. So if you really want to open up the can of worms and like go back, I'm sure that a lot of people, that's what I'm saying. Like some of these things, like you're just with your staffers, you're going through shit. Like maybe this has happened before. Maybe it's the norm. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Maybe this is setting a precedence and they will go back and punish previous presidents for doing this.
Yeah, it's just harder because this is new. And so there's new video, there's new audio. Like you'd have to actually try to find previous audio, video, which may be very difficult, especially when you go way back. I don't know.
The internet is abundant with people, internet sleuths that dig and they go, hey, yeah, dude, look what I found.
Yeah, you can find stuff that was in the news, but like just having somebody go into a place and record somebody, like, come on, man. If that was a thing, you would have heard about it already.
Like the audio.
They're not just sitting on it for years like some fucking collectible hoping that someday it makes this point. Like if they have dirt, they're sharing that dirt. You know what I mean? Like, come on. It just is going to get harder as it goes. But
and who recorded this?
That's
right.
What I said.
Was this from a reporter or was this like, is this something that always happens in those rooms?
This is one of those moments where they actually try to protect the whistleblower.
Yeah, unlike the other ones. Yeah.
Well, you notice it was released.
Who it is. Trump would know because there's probably only a handful of people in the room.
Yeah,
at best.
It was leaked to CNN.
Yeah,
yeah.
Of course, just like CNN was right there when Roger Stone was getting raided and all this shit.
Listen, I don't.
And the other thing I don't like too is like if you wanted to get real weird on it, like audio clips are so easy to manipulate. Like you could chop up things and make it sound natural.
You could.
I don't think
But
that
I don't
sounded
think
very
this
chopped
was-
up at all.
Yeah, I don't
dude.
think this was edited.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell a lot of times when people do that, but that was pretty smooth, man. Now, I'm not saying that he did anything wrong or right. Like, I don't feel like this is enough to say anything. And I'll say it again, dude. Like, listen, I like Trump and all that stuff, but like, if he did something wrong, he did something wrong. Like, I'm not this guy that's going to just defend him if he's doing the wrong shit. My problem is,
But they have to prove it.
they have to prove it, and if they do, so be it. But you better also have only thing is that all of them should be treated the same. That's my biggest argument. If you're gonna do this with him, you have to do this with everybody. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you find faults and he did something wrong, then he's responsible for that. But also, we can't be protecting other people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the issue that I have with it. So we'll see. If there's video, I think that's going to be very telling.
I doubt there's video. My guess is that this is someone pushed something on their phone and just had their phone sitting there and they probably weren't recording anything. That'd be super obvious if they were recording, especially if they were in a small setting.
You would think, but they're literally freaking who goes around to bars and has these people say all this crazy shit from a fucking pin button. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the whole James O'Keefe entire thing is sitting across from somebody with a camera.
True.
So like, it's not that they can't do it. They might. This might be audio from that. However, this was pretty decent audio.
Yeah.
It was
compared
really
to James O'Keefe's audio, which is hit and miss whether how grainy it is. But regardless, we'll find out. We'll find out what's going on with it, and it'll all come to light at some point. So whether that's good or bad, I have no idea.
Well, what was it? August 8th or whatever is when the trial starts.
Yeah, it's the day we get our house, man. We'll be celebrating and watching.
It's gonna be a hot month.
Yeah, listen, I think it's interesting, and you know, like I said, I think that if he did something wrong, he should be held accountable for that. But it's going to be very hard to prove that at the end of the day. So we'll see, because I don't like the way that was said per se. But I also think that he's hyperbolic in general, so it's not shocking that he's like, check this out, look at this. Like,
you know what? I think eventually there's going to be video that comes out, and I think that's going to be the piece that gets him arrested. I think he's actually going to be found guilty and then serve time.
That's where you're going with it?
Yeah, I think that's what he has to get arrested to set this precedence if he wants to use this to go after other presidents. But then again, you have to have a judicial system that's willing to go after past presidents as well.
Yeah,
that's true. It's very, very true, man. So that it's kind of a double-edged sword, like you said earlier, right?
Yeah, unless there's another court martial or something that you can implement to take care of that stuff too.
Yeah, I'm not legal savvy, so
no, I agree with you. Interesting though, very interesting story, man. Yeah, a couple interesting stories today, and we left out 2/3 of it. Still, it's good stuff, man. Anyways,
it's
Greg,
climate change.
Climate change, man. It's a fucking Yellowstone. Cheers to you, Greg.
All right, cheers, everybody.
You guys have a great Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow morning with Randall. Randall's coming in studio tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
Whiskey Shaman.
all right, later.
Sayonara.